Tear gas. Cheryl, can you give us an update?
You heard it. The tear gas just went off, and it is pretty strong. It was quiet just a few moments ago, but right now, that fifth round of tear gas just went off. It's becoming unbearable. Let's just go to the videotape. Police used tear gas to break up the crowd at 14th and Broadway. The aftermath wasn't pretty.
We just stood there like against the line or whatever, and then they said, okay, well, we're gonna shoot if you guys don't move. So they said, like, we have a few minutes, and then even before the minutes passed, they just start shooting off. And then after even the fact that everybody left, they kept shooting. The only thing we have to do is just to continue to march. That's the only we can do to change things, because if we keep running away, nothing's gonna happen.
No one out here has a gun. No one out here wants to go to jail. All we're trying to say is it's our right, it's freedom of speech.
Occupy Oakland protesters exercised their freedom of speech all evening. At one point, there was a standoff between protesters and police. Police used force to break up the crowd.
We got sold out!
Then the march went winding through downtown Oakland toward Lake Merritt.
Not us, but the 1%.
We are the 99%. We are not going to back down. We have no reason to back down.
And I'm here because the system does not serve me. The system was never set up to serve me. The system was set up to keep the rich in power, oppress the middle class.
But I do understand the matter at hand, and it's about time someone spoke up. I totally understand it. I just don't like being inconvenienced. Woo! Okay.
People are in pain. They need help, and we don't know how else to voice our opinions as citizens who pay their taxes and who are just normal, everyday people.
What this is a gathering of working people trying to reverse a situation that has occurred, that has kicked them out of their homes, has stolen their pensions, has taken away their benefits, and now threatened our city services right and left. We've been cut to over 25%.
This has been the scene all night long. This is the fourth time that tear gas has come out. Media is standing here all along. We've never felt unsafe at this point. It's just the tear gas that's becoming unbearable. We're going to wrap it up here and move on to a different location. Reporting live at 14th and Broadway, I'm Cheryl Hurd, NBC Bay Area News.
Okay.
NBC Bay Area Cheryl Hurd joins us from Danville. And Cheryl, it's hard to imagine the heartache they feel.
That's right, Jessica. This entire Danville community has been touched by this young soldier, and they proved that tonight.
Amazing grace.
Many of the people here knew Marine Lance Corporal Joshua Corral.
That saved a wretch.
Many of them did not, but they all came to honor a friend, classmate, and U.S. Marine who died Friday while in combat in Afghanistan.
I mean, it's always smiling, just he brought the best out in the people. And
Corral's cousin Chris Short says those close to the 19-year-old machine gunner in the 7th Marine Regiment called him Chachi.
Life of the party. I mean, he was a great guy. He was a big inspiration. I mean, when he says, like, when he talks up the military, I mean, people believe him because he's a very likable guy.
Likable and a young leader. When Corral decided to join the Marines right out of high school, he encouraged 10 of his friends to join with him.
Chachi was a light in this dark world because of leading his squad and laying down his life that others may live.
Corral will never know the impact he made on so many lives. 400 people lined the streets outside his parents' home to honor their son Monday.
I didn't know him, but you know the way we think of it, they're our brothers and sisters, all these Marines.
His older brother Zach could barely speak, but tried to give the crowd words of encouragement.
For those who have lost their grasp of faith, do not, because we haven't.
Loved him, gonna miss him for the holidays, and just love him, and just gotta be here for the family now.
But now I see.
Corral is the second soldier from this community to die in combat this year. Live in Danville, I'm Cheryl Hurd, NBC Bay Area News.
NBC Bay Area's Cheryl Hurd shows us it's a race against time, and for now, he's beating the odds.
Dr. Richard Alney is on a mission to complete a research paper on the debilitating nerve disease, ALS. It's a condition where you lose all muscle function, and it was made famous by baseball great Lou Gehrig. And now UCSF Dr. Alney has been living with it for almost 7 years.
Probably the final diagnosis after 3 back surgeries was 2004.
The disease is catching up with him, and he doesn't know how much time he has left to live.
Most of us have sort of worked through our intense sadness and have learned to live in the present and be thankful for each day and the time that we have left with Rick.
This is a sad story for anyone who has ALS, but more than ironic for a man who is known all over the world as a top clinical specialist for ALS. And in a tragic twist of fate, he is now suffering from the same disease he spent a lifetime studying.
That's the kind of job he had. That's the kind of patients. He was internationally known for his ALS research and taking care of patients and starting the ALS Center at UCSF.
He is determined to complete a research paper on life expectancy for people with the disease.
I want to write a paper with my son.
He does it with a special-made computer where he uses his eyes to type. The computer reads out his sentences in his own words he recorded 7 years ago because he can no longer speak.
Yes.
His son, Nick, is right there with him.
It was pretty sad, you know. It's really sad, and it was kind of like, why me, why him? People actually thought my dad might have more like 6 months to live, so I wanted to spend as much time as I could. And I still think that time was pretty special to have those 2 years.
Every day is a gift for the Alneys. The average life expectancy for an ALS patient is 3 to 5 years. Dr. Alney never felt like a victim. He says his family is all he needs.
I love my family and friends.
In Corte Madera, Cheryl Hurd, NBC Bay Area News. Pleasant weather, diverse people, and its proximity to San Francisco. And in the middle of it all, Mayor Jean Quan is at the helm.
Perform the duties of office of mayor for the city of Oakland. I do.
She's the first Asian and female mayor Oakland has ever had.
A really nice reporter friend of mine actually asked this, blurted this out in 2 months in the press conference, and I was really annoyed. He said, well, Gina, you're tough enough. And I'm like, hey, you know, I beat one of the toughest politicians in the state, was outspent by millions of dollars. How could you ask me that question?
How you doing?
Mayor Quan has been very visible in the past 6 months, and she's been busy.
We hired a new city administrator, but probably the most important thing is I balanced a very tough budget and got consensus by all of our labor unions, including the ones whose contracts were not open.
The unions agreed to give back 9% of their wages to pay toward their pensions. Now, Quan wants to bring in money. She plans to do that through a special election for a proposed parcel tax.
I'm now asking the citizens of Oakland to give us 25 cents a day for the next 5 years so that I can get through the recession.
But her plan isn't going over well with Council member Ignacio de la Fuente, who doesn't mince words when it comes to disagreeing with the mayor.
Another tax is not going to resolve the financial crisis that we have. That we have to stop the train of spending.
And Quan is facing more than just a financial challenge. Oakland has long taken in a wave of criticism for its crime rate. People think that when you come to Oakland, you're going to get shot.
I have this sort of 15, 20-second blurb to just say what I just said, that Oakland is one of the greenest cities in the nation, one of the most diverse, we have the best weather, and the hottest restaurant scene in Northern California.
And the national media looks at you like,
are you crazy?
Quan says she's not crazy, but determined to transform Oakland's reputation into something positive. Statistics are showing a drop in overall crime, but a rise in killings on the street. And she says she was caught off guard when Police Chief Anthony Batts was a finalist for the chief's job in San Jose, although he didn't get hired.
He's a rising star, and he's very ambitious. So I won't be surprised someday if he's not the chief of New York or Los Angeles.
The first 6 months haven't been easy for the new mayor, but in the short time, there has been some successes. The city's first baby college, designed after a program in Harlem to help parents in the city's toughest neighborhoods. Oakland has a new crime hotline where people can call in anonymously with tips. And the mayor has a lot of support here and abroad.
Having Asian investors look at Oakland again because we are a port city. We are the only port in the nation that exports more than we import. That has been the most exciting thing.
Kwan says 6 months is not enough time to be given a grade on what she's done so far. But she has already thought about what she wants her legacy to be.
I want us to be this successful global international city that everyone says that's what we want the world to be like.
In Oakland, Cheryl Hurd, NBC Bay Area News.